being Daba Marena, Manlafikor, Ibulo, Alfaba, Aliou Cisse, a lady called Julia, and Masi Jame. Do you recall that?
Correct.
Do you remember hearing what the government had to say about the fate of Daba Marena, Ibulo, Alfaba, Manlafikor, and Aliou Cisse?
I recall this information that they were being escorted by some, I don't know, police or prison officers to Janjambure, but they escaped. I listened to this on the news. Unfortunately, the man I was listening to this news on that day together is late just some 1 week or 2 weeks back, but he would have been here to, attest to this fact that I said it to him that this is a concussion, it's a lie on that particular day.
Do you think it would have been possible for that lie to be stated on national radio without Yaya Jammeh's involvement?
It is not possible.
As far as you know, who bears ultimate responsibility for the killing of these individuals, these 7 individuals?
I will automatically say he bears the responsibility.
Who do you refer to as he?
The former President Yaya Jammeh.
So your testimony is Yaya Jammeh killed these 7 individuals?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After this particular operation, did anything happen to the patrol team, the constitution of the patrol team?
Well, the departure of Ismaila Jammeh and in addition to that, my departure has set the patrol team in an unbalanced status.
What do you mean by that?
They were no more solid, and there was that form of weakness, I could read in their, performance.
Give us examples.
Like, men were scattered. First, there also came to be non-cooperation in between, and there was a scramble for position also. Because at this point in time, when Manlafikor was late, Tumbul, shortly before his death, decided to bring the followers of Manlafikor, his subordinates, to attach them to this team, when we have already left. So there was that scramble of position and power in between them. And sometimes you will hear, you can tell somebody, count yourself out of my soul, but you cannot tell him, count your hearing from my saying.
So what happened to you?
I left, and it was this time that the fight began to be tense in my side, because the day I was leaving coincided with the day Tumbul was laid to rest.
What happened to Tumbul?
Tumbul was sick and he died. But we believe he died out of this spiritual fight between him and Musa Jammeh. Both of them conquered each other.
Was it a spiritual fight?
This is what we believe, because they were both scrambling for that appointment of PPO.
What is PPO?
Principal Protective Officer.
For who?
For the President, Yaya Jammeh.
Theory has it that both of them were poisoned and they died.
It could
to
be.
Cover up Yaya Jammeh's crimes of executions and assassinations.
It could be. If theory quotes it like that, I will not condemn it, because looking at the nature of how Tumbul's family was left after his departure, and taking into consideration his commitment for Yaya Jammeh's job, one will not dispense it.
So you think it would not be wrong to suggest that both Tumbul and Musa Jame were executed in order to cover up for Yaya Jame's crimes?
It may be possible, because myself, I narrowly escaped that trap.
We would come to that later. So can you explain to the Commission how you started dissociating yourself from the patrol team / junglers?
Yes, I can.
Go ahead, please.
When we let Tumbul to rest, there was this order from Nuabaji that all of us present at the burial were to report to Kanilai and we should report to Solo, and there would be a meeting. It was proposed that Solo would take the lead, that is inheriting it from the late commander that was Tumbul. So we left, went to Kanilai. On our way, there was a Kasu farm on the right hand side of the road, I don't know, after Pirang, where these the Manjangos used to prepare this sum-sum. We passed through there. I was still having
Did you help yourselves to the sum-sum?
I was still with my cannabis.
Okay, but did the others help themselves to the sum-sum?
They were drunk from that point. Then we proceeded to Kanilai. We went to the meeting in Solo's house that was, located at the top floor of the first story building. If you come immediately from Yaya Jame's house to the left, the top floor was where Solo's room was located. We went there, and everybody was seated. When Solo came out, before the meeting was to commence, I put the same question that I asked on the road on the floor.
Which was?
What do you people think about us being used against our people instead of rendering service? And again, I said I'm not comfortable.
Did they respond?
There was no response. Suddenly, the meeting dispersed.
And then what happened after that?
We followed one another to Manjang's, residence in Mud House, because then I was no more in Kanilai. Although there was a big hall that during my stay there, I partitioned into 3 rooms, one being the parlor and 2 bedrooms. At this time when we came, the 2 rooms were being occupied by soldiers of the physical guard. I wouldn't have a room. So we decided to go to the Mud House where Manjang was presiding, because he never wanted to lose that residence. He is always permanently fixed there. Upon arriving at that place, we were at the veranda. I heard Michael Jata saying in Mandinka, I'm sorry, it is inclusive and insult. If the commission will allow me to
the commission would listen to it. It's the evidence, the commission would hear it. Just say it verbatim.
This was a quarrel and it was in words in Mandinka.
Tell us.
Say natra jarra kanyo samba kebal nyatuna kanyo doya. Woto nganyo samba ulo kanyo basele.
That is what he said.
That is what he said.
Could you translate that into English?
If it is what to take one another to the command to be causing each other, I think we will take each other to the bush and we fuck each other's parents, mothers.
That's what who said?
Michael Jata said it.
And what happened after that?
I turned and faced him boldly. I knew that was for me, because it was me who caused the meeting to be wrapped up. And I said to him, "Take a file ke ole mbasele. Moto chabo fele mbulo kono, albula moto kono ngal samba to a very comfortable bus albe mbasele la damento."
And what does that mean?
I said, I always love men to fuck my mother. But as I am having the key of the vehicle, bought the vehicle, I will take you to a comfortable bus where you will do this that you are saying.
You were inviting them to a fight?
Yes. They invited me.
And what happened after that?
A bag out.
And then?
I was angry. My intention was to wrap up the whole show, because my intention was I would not go with any firearm because I took out my firearm and put it on the floor. I put out my pistol, put it on the floor before I said this.
For all these operations you talked about earlier, you said you went in battle order. What type of weapons did you have?
I was having a grenade launcher and a pistol, side muzzle, short muzzle rather.
Okay. Say for the operations in which you participated, what type of weapons did you use?
It was all pistol.
All pistol?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dauda Nyasi, it was pistol, correct?
Pistol. Yes, sir.
Dongo Mbup, you did not fire?
I did not fire.
Deida Hydra, it was pistol?
It was pistol.
And
pistol mark Glock 17.
Glock 17. And all the other operations, say for instance, the Ghanaians, it was also a pistol?
The Ghanaians, I believe there could have been shots, because the AK shot could be different from, could sound different from the pistol shot. I was able to identify AK shots were fired, but who was firing the AK shots, I will not know, because I was able to distinguish between the thumb and the crack.
And as far as you're concerned, the person you killed, what type of weapon did you use?
Pistol I used.
Pistol, good. So on this particular occasion that you had this altercation with Michael Jata and this other group, you were armed as well, were you?
I was armed, but before saying this, my intention was to wrap up everything, run everybody into accident, whereby I believe I would be able to save, though I was going to be casualized, but I will not allow anybody to come home. And if I come back, my intention was to explain that we ran into accident and they all died.
But that plan was never to materialize.
They didn't, they back out of it. They invited me. When I took it, they back out.
What did you do after that?
I left them, and I told them that 9 o'clock I am going to leave here and go home. And I'm going with this particular car for my safe mobility. That's the time I left them and went to the baobab tree beside that mud house. There was a Rasta man who was not very correct. He used to gather stones there and make it a mosque where he used to be parked. I went to him and he gave me some cannabis. I smoked. From there, it was almost 9 o'clock. I came back and told them.
Cannabis, was it legalized in Kanilai?
It was not legalized.
But people smoked freely?
Not freely everywhere.
But there were places where people could smoke freely?
Not specific places. You know where to hide yourself, and you feel you are safe, you smoke it.
Okay, good. So, and then what happened after that?
When I came back, it was sharp 9 o'clock on my watch. I said to them that I am now going, and this is my final time with you people. I'm going with the car. That was the time I picked my weapon, the grenade launcher. There is a process you call make safe with the weapon. Unload the weapon, clear it until they all saw that it was clear. I picked the round that came from the chamber, loaded it on the magazine, loaded it again, and cocked it safe. I took my pistol, did the same thing, cock and safe. And I told them that I am leaving and I'm going to use this back way from here to Kunjenja. I will appear in Sibano. That was the road that I was introduced to in the initial time. That was the border road. So whoever is displeased with, amongst you, go and wait for me on the road. We prove to each other who is the better soldier.
And after that?
When I was about to board the vehicle, the same Michael spoke and said, Arabulaita, one-man army. Manjang was on the other side with Noah, and they said, that was where I achieved my aim to be operating alone by myself.
One-man army?
Yes, sir.
And where did you go?
I went home to Tujereng.
With your grenade launcher?
With my grenade launcher. It was all along with me at home.
And your jeep?
Yes, sir.
Unaccounted for in the army?
Accounted for.
Did they come after you for the jeep?
No. In another development, Lamin Ture, who was a close associate of Sanna Manjang, called me when I was coming from Kanilai and indicated that Borakoli and the guys are setting an ambush for me at Kembujeng. That if I was in possession of cannabis, let me just postpone my journey. I said, fine, I am around Sumita, but tell them that I am not in possession of cannabis. Since they are there to wait for me, I will go back and load because I have advised them not to spoil the boys in this cannabis peddling long time, and they are doing it. Do they need something better than me? Tell them I'm going back to Upot and I will load, and I'm coming.
Do that?
I went and did that. I'm sorry, it is a crime, it's an offense.
What did you load? What did you load?
I loaded cannabis.
Where did you get the cannabis from?
It was these pushermen who will go to the bush to buy cannabis and they do not know how to transport it to Combo.
You knew where to find them?
I used to patrol the border and I knew that at Upat there was one compound that was just beyond the border. There is not part of the Gambia. I would call it a no man's land.
There is no such place. No man's land? No. It's either in Gambia or it's in Senegal.
Militarily, we call the 300 meters from the border, from your end area to the other country as a no man's land. So you would say maybe 150 meters inward and 150 meters outward. We call it a no man's land. Okay,
that is news to me, but if you look at the map...
This is combatly, I mean. I am not talking about those civil
okay, so this house was located within that 300 meter zone?
Not even 300 meters zone. It was less than even 100 meters, maybe 75 to 80 meters from the border.
From the Gambian border?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you went there, and what happened?
I went there. Luckily, I found so many pushermen with their cannabis there. They did not know how to cope. I loaded the vehicle to the brink.
And
I told them that I am not going to carry anybody. If you can contact your agents, give me your number. You contact your agents that anywhere I'm supposed to meet them will be on the road, and I drop it. If I don't see them, I'm going away with your cannabis.
So you served as a smuggler?
Yes.
For the pushermen?
That trip, I served as a smuggler for the pushermen.
You knew you would not be stopped along the way?
That is what I wanted, in fact, because I was fed up then.
And what was the consideration that was given for you to carry out this dangerous enterprise?
They were paying $500 for a kilo.
How many kilos did you load?
I cannot remember how many kilos I loaded, but I had $27,000 on that trip.
That's a lot of money. $500 per kilo, $27,000, that's 54 kilos.
It cannot solve my problem.
But it was 54 kilos nonetheless.
Maybe, something like that.
Yes. And did you come across the ambush?
I came up to around Mandinaba, the same Lamin Ture mosquito, alias mosquito of the NIA, gave me a call and indicated that Bora is advising these people to, fall out the patrol, the ambush. Otherwise, the expectation they have in your cooperation is not going to be met. You are going to open fire on them before they achieve their objective. I said, fine. Tell him, I said, please let him wait for me there. That I'm getting close.
Weren't you on a suicidal mission?
That would have been better than sitting here today to be humiliated. I'm feeling humiliated. If you don't know, let me tell you.
Well, our objective, our purpose is not to humiliate you. Our objective is to bring out the truth from you, let you explain to the Gambian people what you did and why you did it.
And I am doing that, feeling that I'm responding to the demand of the people, which should have been the order that was thwarted to serve the interests of one person. So I will not leave any stone unturned.
Wonderful. That is the expectation. Don't leave any stone unturned, but don't also think that the Commission is here to humiliate you. That is far from our objective. What you did was wrong, it was unlawful, and it was deeply embarrassing. Perhaps maybe that is why you're feeling this way.
Yes, of course.
So, did you succeed in getting to town with the cannabis?
I did it. I told you that, I was able to get 27,000 out of that smuggling.
And what did you do after that?
From there, I was maintaining the car that I was having with that money to sustain it.
And for how long did you stay at home?
I stayed at home. I stayed in this one-man army for almost 2 years to 2009, when I was invited by a tourist friend of mine to, Holland on holidays.
But during these 2 years, were you being paid your salary?
I was being paid my salary, sir.
You were not reporting to work anywhere?
I was not reporting to work.
Nobody came after you?
No, sir.
Wouldn't that amount to desertion in the army?
Well, I was willing to work, but the area in which they wanted me to work, I cannot work there. And the guy applying the law knows that they are corrupt, and they know that they are wrong. They will not get a good excuse over me to do that. That's why I choose to do it in that way too.
So 2 years you stayed at home, nobody said a word?
Nobody said anything to me.
Your salary was being paid normally?
Yes, sir. And this was the time you are telling me that Babukar knows that I was at home for a long period. This is where it started. I told you that I did not tell him anything about these activities. But out of his professional observation, he could be able to tell that something is wrong in my career. And obviously something was wrong in my career. My family, sometimes they said I am short-tempered. I was not short-tempered. There was something that was disturbing me. Because before that time, I was a very nice man in the family. I had all these things piled up in my head. So I could then easily tend to lose my temper. And my family, my own family, quoted that I am short-tempered. But prior to that, I was never that short-tempered.
You were traumatized?
Completely.
And you mentioned a Babukar. Which Babukar are you referring to?
That is the former chief of staff that you asked me in the conversation that he was my brother. Somebody of my brother's brother was in position in the government.
And what's his name?
Babukar Jata.